Welcome back to my YouTube channel. As it's the international break, we've got a very special guest with us here today. We've got all-round good guy, EFL legend, former Cardiff, Leeds, and most importantly, Middlesbrough legend, Sol Bamba with us here today. So how are you doing, Sol?
I'm very well, thank you. That's a very nice introduction. Thank you for that.
I've been working on that. Yeah, so this interview we're going to be splitting it into two parts. We're going to talk a little bit about Sol's wider career before delving into his Middlesbrough career specifically in part two. But Sol, if we go back to the very start of your career, so obviously you started out at PSG. So just tell us a little bit about how you actually got started in professional football.
Yeah, it's typical, to be fair, Phil. You follow your older brother. I've got three brothers, and my oldest one used to play football, playing in the street, playing with friends. And before you know it, people said you're good enough, you should go to clubs. And that's what I did. Went to an amateur club, trained twice a week. And from there, I've been pegged by Paris Saint-Germain, and I never looked back.
So obviously, coming through at PSG was a great place to kind of like make your first strides in professional football. So who were the players that you sort of looked up to as a young player, but then also coming into life at PSG?
Yeah, obviously growing up in France, born in Paris, and huge fan of Paris Saint-Germain. I used to watch their games and go to watch their games as well in the stadium. And the one I was looking up to was George Weah, the striker, the number 9. Obviously, everyone know about him. Ballon d'Or in '95. Played for AC Milan, played for Chelsea, won the Champions League. I was a huge fan of him, and the reason why I played football was because of him. Because I used to watch him play, pretend I was him, scoring goals and all that. Massive fan of him.
Brilliant! Yeah, he was a great player to look up to. He was such a legend in the '90s, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, very good player.
Absolutely, and obviously, so you came through at PSG, and then you got your big break in Britain. So it was Dunfermline where you went on trial and got your first sort of break. And I understand it was a run-in with John Hartson in a trial match, which got you up and going.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, to be fair, I think like every big club and academy in Europe is very, very difficult to break through. And at Paris, unfortunately, I only played like a couple of games, 1 league game and 2 cup games, and I wanted to play first team football, so that's why I came to Scotland, because it gave me that opportunity. And obviously, I had a sort of try game against Hartson, and it's a big fella. Everyone know how big and strong he was, and I put him back pocket really, you know. And after that, they signed me, and I never looked back. Yeah.
That's what you need to do. Someone like John Hartson, get him in your back pocket, and then you're shown that you can pretty much conquer all of English football at that point, haven't you?
Exactly.
Absolutely. So how did you find it adapting to life as a professional footballer? Obviously, playing in Scotland, the demands of going from, I guess, sort of like academy level football to the professional game. How did you find that transition?
Yeah, that was the hardest one, to be fair, Phil, because being away is not a problem, because I've been away from a very young age. I used to, because I was at academy at Paris Saint-Germain, the whole week I wasn't at home, and I was coming just for the weekend. So going to Scotland didn't affect me that much because I was used to it. But to get used to the professional football, where you know you play games every weekend, where it's tough games and it's important games. Training is a different level as well. It was a different country, different language, so it was tough at the start, you know. But to make me so welcome, like the players, the club looked after me. I learned the English there, so it was a good learning curve, but it was difficult at the start because I moved there. I was 22, and it was tough. But you know, looking back, I'm happy I did it, and it's experienced. But at the beginning, it was very, very difficult, if I'm honest.
Absolutely. One person who played a big role in helping your career was Sven-Goran Eriksson. So he was obviously manager of the Ivory Coast national team. He later gave you an opportunity with Leicester as well. So how big an impact did he have on the trajectory of your career?
Huge, absolutely huge. And every time I speak to anybody about my career, he's one of the first name I mention, because he has a huge impact. And it's not only football. I speak to him in a regular basis as well about everything. And he's been a huge help for me even when I was in Scotland, because I started playing the national team back in 2007-8, and I was in Scotland at the time, and our national team was full of international players with playing for the best club in Europe, and I was, full due respect, playing at that time for Hibs, and playing with Kolo Touré, who used to play for Arsenal, and people was like, why Sol playing? We got player play for Barcelona, and he's then not playing, and Sol playing in Scotland, and he's playing. But Sven had none of it. He was confident. He wanted me to play. With Kolo, he thought we had the best partnership, and he always supported me. And obviously, when he left the national team, went to Leicester, he brought me with him as well. He has a huge impact on my career. I can't thank him enough. He's been big for me.
Mm-hmm. So what kind of specifically did he do to sort of, obviously he kept the faith with you in the Ivory Coast national team and that sort of thing, but was he kind of like an arm around the shoulder type of manager, or was it just kind of giving you the confidence and belief to show that you can really kind of kick on?
It's exactly that, Phil. He never shout, and sometimes we had bad games. Even when I was at Leicester, we had bad games, and I remember he used to come back in the dressing room and he said, "Oh, he's gonna have a go at us." But he never shout, he never speak loud, he's always calm. And I think that's his strength, and he commanded respect. People listen to him because of that. And with me, it was always this. He used to come to my room and have a chat with me, always have an arm around me. And that helped, because that gives you confidence when you got someone like this, ready to let you make mistake, and always there for you to support you. They give you the license for you to go and perform. And him and Neil Warnock is definitely the two best managers I work under, because them two they're very good at that.
Absolutely. You mentioned there about playing alongside Kolo Touré as well. So obviously he was at that time he was with Arsenal. He was one of the Invincibles, one of the best defenders in the Premier League. So what was it like to play alongside him and learn from him?
Yeah, I mean, and that's where it was difficult, Phil, because I was looking at where we all football player, and we can all do a job, and we all have the respect for each other. But when you look back, you play in Scotland and you got Kolo playing in Arsenal, winning titles and playing Champions League, and the rest of the team as well. It was the same for all the team, and you question yourself. Are you good enough? Should you be here or no? And obviously, losing game in Africa as well. Everything is bigger. It's not just football, it's politics, there's a lot of things involved. And when you lose game there, it's big, and people question, and so it was tough at time, very, very difficult, but I just enjoy being there and learning next to the best. Yaya Touré was there, Drogba was there, we had a very, very, very good team, and they're good people, and that's why it's important, because before being a football player, we're all human beings, and they're good people, and they were here to help me and the rest of the lads, and we're still in contact, all of us, and I think that's the most important thing.
And just going back to Sven-Goran Eriksson as well. So I hear that he compared you to Franz Beckenbauer at some point. That's how's that for a compliment?
Yeah, no, I don't know why he had to drink that day when he said that, but I think it was too nice. Yeah, no, I mean, I think the way I've been learning the game in Paris Saint-Germain, that's how they want you to play. From when you're a defender, you have to play from the back. So they want you to take risk. And I always been comfortable on the ball. I used to play in front like every player anyway. We all start in front. So when Sven asked me to play from the back, I would take some risk to pass the ball. But obviously in England, you're not used to that. And I had that problem nearly all my career, because they were like, Sol take too many risks. But I played the way the manager wanted me to play, and Sven wanted me to play that way. But at time, it's true, he said to me, you're a defender where you have to clear. You can't always dribble or try to do the right thing. And one or twice I dribble, and it worked, and one or twice it didn't. So that's why he compared me to Beckenbauer. But he had too much to drink that day.
Well, maybe it was a reputation of comparing you to Beckenbauer, which is what earned you the move to Leicester when he took you there. So
no, I'm sure it's not that.
So how did you find it at Leicester playing under Eriksen? Obviously, it was him that brought you in. I know that he left, and obviously Nigel Pearson took over and that sort of thing. But how did you find the challenge of playing at a club like Leicester City?
Yeah, it was great. To be fair, Phil, my aim was always to play in England. So long story short, we were with the national team, and in the World Cup 2010, he didn't play me for. Yeah, he didn't play 1 minute. I was in the squad. I was in the team. We did all of the pre-season friendly games, and he dropped me and he put Zokora centre midfield in centre half, and he put another midfield in. And all the player was happy and came to me and said, "Let's go and see Sven and this and this." And I said, "No, just leave it. It's his decision. I'm not happy. It's a World Cup. I want to play, but it's his decision. I don't want to go and see him." So I left it. We played the World Cup, got knocked out, and on the way to the airport, he came to me and he said to me, "What I did to you wasn't good, but you didn't complain. You didn't come to see me to complain. You were training good, smiling on your face. So I'm going to take a club because I'm leaving the national team, I'm telling you, and I'm going to take a club and I'm going to sign you." And I'm like, "Oh," he said that to be nice. We're in the airport, we just leave, and he just tried to be nice. And he did. He signed for Leicester, and the first thing he did is to call me, and he asked me to come to Leicester.
Do you think it was a bit of a test? Do you think it was kind of a test of character, or?
I think so, because he did mention that after. He said to me at the end of that season, we had the player award things, and he had a speech, and he said, someone asked him the question and said, "Well, your son Sol was your first player you signed, but you had him at the World Cup and you didn't play him." And he said that story. He said, the national team of Ivory Coast is tough, very big players, ego, it's hard to manage. And Sol never caused me any problem. I didn't play him. He was on the squad for the last 2 years. I changed the team and he didn't say the word. So start telling me everything about him. That's why I wanted to sign him. And I think he's a good player. And that's what he said to me. He said, "The fact you didn't, come and complain or do anything, that's telling me everything about you. That's why I signed you." So, I did well because I was upset. But if I had react, I wouldn't sign for Leicester. So I think I did well.
Absolutely, and obviously it was Sven who brought you to Leicester. It was him who kind of showed the faith and gave you the opportunity. But not long after you'd arrived, it ended up being Nigel Pearson who took over, and things kind of went a little bit off the boil a little bit there. So what happened there from your perspective?
Yeah, to be completely honest with you, Phil, I think because I'm still in contact with Nigel, and he's top manager, top man, and we talked about that. I was so disappointed Sven left. So any manager who was coming after that, he wouldn't work with me, because I love Sven. He brought me to the club. He was good with me. I think the way he left wasn't good. The way the owner treated him as well. So I was upset, and that didn't help. But Nigel Pearson was great, and I was there on a long-term contract. I was an important player for the club, so it was no problem in terms of me staying at Leicester. But it's just because I was upset, and Nigel came in and he said to me, "Listen, I know you're a Sven player, if you like. Nothing's going to change. If you train good and you play good, you're going to play. I'm happy for you to stay." So it was no problem. But because I was very, very upset at the end of that season, I decided to leave, and I went to Turkey. But me and Nigel, we in good term, and we never had any problem.
Absolutely, and I read that you actually, I think in an interview that you've done previously about leaving Leicester, I think you've said that you regretted the decision to leave Leicester and head to Turkey. Why was that?
Yeah, because I think when you find, because Leicester's a very, very good club, when you find good family club, and I was lucky to play for two very good family club, I would say, Middlesbrough and Leicester. It's rare, because football, as you know, the industry is all about winning games and money, this. When you got good club looking after you and care about the player and your family, is very rare. And Leicester, Middlesbrough do that. And I think I left too early. It's a very good club, good people, were well looked after. I should have, if I was older, I would have stayed. But I was young. I was upset Sven left. I just wanted to go. And that's definitely one of my regret, because I would have definitely stayed at Leicester if I could.
Absolutely, but as you said, you went to Trabzonspor, then you went to Palermo in Italy, and then the opportunity came to come back to England with Leeds United. So you came back on an initial loan deal before it became a permanent deal. So what was the experience like playing for a club the size of Leeds United? Because I guess compared to the clubs that you played for before that, maybe excluding PSG, where you were only a young lad, the expectation is off the charts.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Turkey and Italy was very good experience as well for myself and family. Like I said, I've got regret living in Leicester, but as a life experience, I think Turkey and Italy was very good. Different culture, learning the languages and all that. My family being able as well to see those countries, so it was very, very good. And come back in Leeds. At that time, that was a mess. Though the club was a big mess. It was a big club, but it was a lot of problem with the Italian owner, Massimo Cellino, the players as well. All the players were divided. It was very, very difficult. And at that time, I knew about Leeds. Everyone knew about the size of the club. But when I play for a club, I don't feel the expectation of club, history and all that. I'm here to do a job. I come and play, and that's it. And I think, unfortunately, sometimes Leeds and players feel that because the Leeds is heavy and the history is heavy, but you shouldn't worry about that. You're here to do a job. You play the best of your ability, and that's the best you can do. By the time, it was very, very, very difficult because the owner was getting involved with the teams. He was coming to the training ground, complaining and coming to meetings, and at the same time we were fighting to stay in the league. It was very, very difficult, but I enjoyed it. It was a different experience.
And what was the owner like to work under, Cellino?
You don't want to know.
Oh, I do. Was he difficult?
Yeah, very, very difficult. But to be fair, I think because I played in Italy before, I was used to it because in Italy they get involved. They are getting involved, and I think that's where the English culture is not used to it, and people were complaining about it. But for him, it was normal to come in a dressing room. Meetings and decided the team because that's what they do in Italy, and because I played there, it didn't shock me. But obviously, you need to know where you are, and you're in a different country, culture. You have to accept that and respect it. But he didn't care. He used to come in meetings and changing teams and turn up to your house when he's not happy with something. It was difficult. Let's put it this way.
So how big an impact did that have on the I guess like the dynamic around that, I guess the players, but also the management? Because like you said, if he's coming into meetings and kind of taking over, there's an element of being a manager being undermined and that sort of thing. So what kind of impact did that have on the wider, I guess, the football side of the operation?
Oh, huge. On the players as well, you use that as an excuse because at the time we weren't good as well. We were fighting to stay up, and obviously, as you know, players they don't need more to look for excuses. So they're going to say, like, I remember in the meeting, we said, why is he coming? We got a game. We need to concentrate on the game. He doesn't need to come to do a speech. The manager can do that. But as a manager point of view, I think it was Neil Redfern at the time. And he was put in charge by Cellino. And for him, that was an opportunity. So he wasn't complaining. He wouldn't complain. He was just doing what the owner would ask him to do. So it was tough for him, but he was very good. Very, very good. And he used to look after the academy, so he was good with the kids coming through. He allowed us, the experienced player, to deal with the dressing room. And credit to him, to be fair, because dealing with Cellino at that time was difficult, but Neil Redfern did very well. But it's never good because, in England, you never see the owner. He never come to the dressing room, We're not used to that. But we knew that's what he wanted to do and he wanted to get involved, so we just dealt with it, really.
Absolutely, but not long after you, I guess you had your escape route from the madhouse. Let's say you were offered the chance to move to Cardiff City. I believe was it Neil Warnock who took you to Cardiff?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So how did that move come about?
Well, to be fair, me and the gaffer were supposed to work together for 10 years, and we never really managed to do it. So we were in touch, and we were both looking for clubs when I left Leeds, and this time we decided to, wait for each other. So I remember he used to call me every 2 days and saying to me, "Oh, we're going to Aston Villa." And after he called me, he said, "Oh no, we're going to Nottingham Forest." And he said, "No, we're going to Derby."
I just sound like Neil Warnock, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And because he had meeting with all those clubs, and he thought he would have the job, and at the end he didn't. And one day he called me, he said, "Well, okay, drive to Cardiff now, we're going to Cardiff." And I said, "You sure?" He said, "Yeah, because I'm already there." So I drove down there and I signed, and we had a good time together.
Absolutely. So what was Neil Warnock like to work under from your perspective?
Oof, how long we got? No, I mean, for me, he's the best. I keep saying it because, first of all, what he does with his team, because people always said, you know, the way you played, or 4-4-2 or long ball or whatever. For me, he's that good because he knows how to adapt with his team. Whatever team you give him, he's going to be successful with it, and he's going to find a way to play with our team. I'm sure if you give him Man City squad, he's going to play the same way Pep's playing. But because obviously he never managed to that caliber of player, he just adapt to the player he's got. And his man management, that is second to none for me. He's too good, very, very good. He knows what to say to anybody when you need, you know, telling off, or when you need, you know, now on you. He's for me, he's got it all. I always said he's the best manager I work under, definitely.
And obviously, Neil Warnock's renowned for being a little bit of a character. Let's say, I think everyone in football knows that he's one of the bigger characters in the EFL. To put it that way. So, from obviously, you worked with him so many times. You worked with him at Cardiff, and then you worked with him at Middlesbrough. So, what's your favourite Neil Warnock story from your time working with him?
Oh, well, I can tell you that one. I remember we played away at Newcastle when we were in the Prem, and we were getting absolutely hammered. Like, I think it was 3-0 at half time. But I was doing okay, you know, funny enough, even if I conceded 3 goals, but I was doing okay. And before we go to the tunnel half time, he came to me and he said, "Listen, you're doing well, by the way, but I'm going to have a go at you, and I don't want you to say a word because you've been the best player on the pitch, but the player needs to react. We're no good, blah, blah, blah. And if I have a go at you, the lads will react because you've been the best player on the pitch." I'm like, "Okay, but Gaffer," he said, no, leave it with me, please do that. I said, "Okay." So we go to the dressing room, and he came to me, face like, you know what it's like, when he come to you like this, and he swear, he start like absolutely like going crazy. And I knew though, because he told me, so I stay like this, but he keep going and keep going and keep going. And at some point I'm like, come on, that's a bit much. And I look at him, and he knew that was too much, so he left. And we left it like that. We went outside and we lost 3-2. We still lost the game, but it was better. And he said that at the end of the game, and he said, like, you know, that was the plan. Sol was the best player on the pitch, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, you guys needed to react. And that's him. He's that good, you know. He knows, like, what to do, when to recognize what to do. And I always said, you know, for him to know that and to do it this way, I always ask him, "How do you do it?" And he always said to me, "I don't know. I just know." You know, he said it's a gift. I just do it like that. You know. So, but he told me a lot telling off, like, to my face, and I have to take it for the team. Or sometimes I was bad as well, and I have to take it for myself. But you know, he's been so good, and I love the man. You know, he's just great.
That's just a big show of your relationship with him, isn't it? The fact that if you two are kind of like that close, he knows that you can take it, and he knows that you're such a model pro that you can shoulder that responsibility of, I guess, performing in front of your teammates to get the wider point across to your teammates.
Exactly that, Phil, and that's exactly it. We got a special relationship, and it goes beyond. You know, he knows my missus, the kids. You know, he talk to them. He's a special man. I always said, but that's exactly it. It's the relationship we got. You know, even before before training, when he's not happy with something, he asks me to speak to the lads, or to do this or do that. You know, he's very good at it, and the relationship we have, like, I never had that with any other manager. So, you know, it's very good to have him around me, definitely.
Absolutely, and obviously he's 74 years old at the moment, or 74 years young, as he just seems he seems to keep going. He left Huddersfield at the back end of last month, currently without a work. As you'd expect, his name has been linked with every job under the sun because that's what tends to happen. One of the reports coming out at the moment is about the Sheffield Wednesday job, about how he might actually be tempted to take that, even despite his Sheffield United route. So, from your point of view, does he have something to offer him, and would he be a good appointment for someone like Sheffield Wednesday?
100%, Phil, 100%. And I think those kind of jobs, with all due respect, he knows what I mean by that. He loved them. He loved the challenge when Sheffield Wednesday haven't won a game, bottom of the league. He's going to go there and galvanize them if he goes there. That's perfect for him. And he's still got the drive. He loves it. That's him. He missed it when he's not on the pitch or at the training pitch or in the game. He missed it, and it's credit to him. Like you said, he's 74 years young, so he just love it too much, and I think that'd be a perfect appointment. And even if it's no Sheffield Wednesday, he will come back. He will get a job. He will 100% get a job.
Absolutely, and obviously he spent so many years with Sheffield United. And obviously that's kind of is one of the clubs that he's most renowned for managing. Yeah. So would that be an obstacle for him, do you think? Do you think that's the sort of thing that would stop him taking a job like Sheffield Wednesday?
It won't stop him. I think he will. Obviously, the big rivalry between the two clubs, some of the fans, I'm sure, won't be happy. But the predicament they're in, Sheffield Wednesday, trust me, I think I don't think he's any better manager than Neil Warnock to come in and get you out of trouble. So I'm sure the fan will understand that. You've got to die fan, they won't have it because the gaffer is Sheffield United. But him, that won't bother him. He loves the challenge. He will want to go and do a job. I don't think that would bother him, and I think actually that would be a very good appointment.
Absolutely, and I just want to, in the final questions of this sort of section, I want to talk a little bit about your time at Cardiff, because obviously during your time at Cardiff you were diagnosed with cancer during your time there. You had a spell off from playing. I'm not going to go into the personal aspect of it because I want to respect your privacy and your family's privacy from what was undoubtedly a horrific time. But from Cardiff's point of view, what were they like, I guess, in terms of supporting you through that difficult period?
Oh no, they were good, Phil. They were very, very good. I've got to say, and I think it was a shock, everybody. When you're a sport person, you like to think you're healthy. So when somebody said to you, you got cancer, obviously it's going to be a big shock. It was. When that passed, the shock from me and the family and the club, they were very supportive. Even I had the treatment over there. The NHS was very, very good. Every single one of them, looked after me and the family. I couldn't ask for any more. It was a difficult time, but I've got to say, every single one at Cardiff, and it's not just as well at Cardiff. I think it was. I was overwhelmed by the support I had all around the world, really, and especially in England. Messages from strangers, and that helped. That helped massively because that gives you the strength to try to beat this. And it was very, very good for me and the family to receive all those support from everyone around the world.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, who were the kind of key people that kind of stood out to you as kind of going the extra mile to support you through that time frame, whether it's from Cardiff or from, I guess, like your previous clubs and that sort of thing? Because as you said, the support that you got was universal, really.
Yeah, no, clubs were, to be fair, Phil, they were all very good. Even the club I didn't play for, but the club I played for was checking in regularly, sending messages and calling me, texting me and everything. And even through the clubs, I had a referee, can you believe it? And I always fight with a referee, and I had a referee texting me and check in as well. That was nice. So I was, like I said, I was shocked because I didn't realize, the football world could do that. I was just thinking, I'm a football player like others, and I just kick the ball. And when people found out I was sick, the support I had was crazy, and that definitely helped me massively. But I've got to say, the main support is your family. The the missus, the mum and dad, the kids, it's tough on them. But they were very, very good and strong for me, and that helped me going through that, definitely.
Now, I want to take you to one day in particular. So it's the final day of the 2021 season. Cardiff are playing Rotherham in the Championship, and you get told by is it Mick McCarthy who's manager?
That's right. Yeah.
You get told that after obviously everything that you've been through in the months previously, you've made the match day squad. So just for those people that don't know this story, just tell everyone what happened on that day and why it was so memorable for you.
But to be fair, Phil, I think that was my plan all along. I think me being like I am, I had that plan all the way where I done all the treatment and the chemo I was meant to do, and I wanted to come back before the end of the season. Obviously, sometimes the plan doesn't always work, but that's what I wanted to do. So it wasn't a shock for me because it was prepared. So obviously when it happened and I came on for a minute or two, obviously you're just so happy because I managed to done it. And at that time, because it's so much overwhelmed, like I didn't realize it's more after the game and after a week or two, when you realize everything you went through and you managed to play it before the end of the season. And it's like, big relief and you're happy. But that day, even on the normal day, match day and everything, it's just normal. I wasn't thinking of like, I was sick and it's unbelievable, I'm back here. It was just a normal day. I turn up with the lads, laughing and everything, dressing room, banter like always, and play a couple of minutes. But after it, I realized with the family, like, what we done was very good and special.
Absolutely. No, it was I guess the happy ending, I guess, that you were looking for to
exactly.
that particular horrific chapter, I imagine. And it was obviously I was not a Cardiff fan. I'm a Middlesbrough fan, and I remember everyone was just so delighted to see you back in action in that game, because I don't know, you're one of football's good characters. You're one of the good guys, I guess, and it's great to see you back, and that's what everyone kind of wanted to see. And obviously, after that, we'll get onto this in just a moment. But after that, you became an even bigger favourite for me because you ended up joining my club. So yeah, we'll come on to that in part two, though. And yes, but for now, Sol, thank you very much for your time, and we'll come back and we'll chat about Middlesbrough in just a little bit.
Pleasure.